are the enormous advances that have happened between the early 40s and now in genetics and bioengineering and neuroscience. And those have gone into application where they now have created these creatures that people think, oh, that's an extraterrestrial. I said, it is not an extraterrestrial. So the whole thing is deliberately become confused so that people will make an assessment that there are the good aliens and the bad aliens. And if we step into that cowboys and Indian mindset, they can then divide the human race into another war footing that will fulfill the majestic plan that was hatched in the 50s that will take us, as Douglas MacArthur said in his last address to the Congress, to interplanetary war, and that was just the World War III they want. So most of retail ufology, I would say 90+% of it, has embedded within it this message and this information and these images for the purpose of majestic. Now, I think people do it completely innocently. Because
I want to ask a direct question here, because this is personal, and I haven't said this on camera before, so here we go. I'm an abductee, and I'm a mountaineer, and I was abducted out of my tent in December 1981 in the Himalayas on the slopes of Makalu, which is in Nepal, on the border of Tibet. And that wasn't done by the military. This was done in December, in winter in the Himalayas, and I was taken out of my tent, floated over the glacier in the middle of the night, and it was minus 40 degrees. This wasn't the military who were doing that. They couldn't do that.
Well, I'm not saying all contact has been military. I'm being very specific. I'm saying that there's enough. Let's look. If you have a nugget of gold and you dump a whole bunch of fool's gold on it, then no one's doing an assay. And the question becomes, what part of it is extraterrestrial? What part of it is interdimensional? What part of it is man-made? And what part of it is some mixed up where people... And here, I'll make it a little more complicated. There are people who've had ET contact. And when these classified projects find out about it, they will then target them for an abduction so that their paradigm and their perception of this will become confused.
I think what happens here is that we are aware of this level that you're talking about. We're aware of all these different dimensions because we've basically dimensions, not dimensions, but dimensions of this argument because we have been exposed to these levels by different secret witnesses, okay? And I think if we have a disagreement, what it is I don't know if it's completely, it's not an either or question. It's a how much. It's a percentage, as you say. It's going to be, is there sometime abductions that are ET related, that are real ET related, okay, and handled by a certain group of ETs? Is there a MyLab element to it, and is that maybe the largest portion? Highly probable, okay? But is it exclusively that there are only good ETs? I think that when you extrapolate that, that's where I have a problem. Because I think that's philosophically a problem, a limited way of looking at reality.
No, I think the problem is a Manichaean view that has to divide entire species into good and bad. This is precisely what Hitler did when he would say, the Jews are bad and they're dirty and they're this. I think we have to be extremely careful.
Well, I don't think it's necessary to do that quite so much as it is in terms of the overall. I mean, we're talking universes. Okay, we're talking multiple species out there that go, beyond this solar system, certainly, and we're talking about life in general.
But the point is,
I don't think that we can sit here and make a statement like what I heard you say on stage yesterday, which was there are no bad ETs.
No, I think you can say that there is no evidence that the planet has been invaded by hostile, is the word I used, civilizations
so far
that have an intent.
That you have not, in other words...
You can't prove a negative. This is axiomatic.
Well,
what I can say,
we have a problem.
You can't prove a negative.
In other words, that's the point.
But it is the point. You can't prove a negative, but what you can do is go with the evidence that you do have. And one of the sets of evidence we have for CSETI, which has gone around the world and made contact all over the world with thousands of people, we have never had a harmful event happen. We have never had anything resembling anything that has frightened or harmed anyone on the contact team. On the other hand, we have had members of our team that have been targeted with these psychotronic-related military-type abduction events, including myself.
Right,
And so what I have to go with is the evidence that I have, and I also know that there's the stagecraft, to use an Institute for Strategic Studies document that I have, that talks about the stagecraft of abductions because of its psychological warfare value to the agenda of an us versus them Manichaean worldview.